let's get going for your
Okay.
sweet voice. You
Yes,
poor thing.
that sounds good. My voice is not ideal, but we're here. We're doing it. It's good enough. And if it's not, then I'm sorry. Just, read the transcripts or whatever on our social media posts.
Yeah, just if you don't like the way our voice sounds, you could just read it.
Exactly. I'm Andy.
And I'm Katie.
And this is Two Girls Who Scare Easily. And we talk about fun, spooky stuff around Colorado. So today is my story. And Miss Katie, I have a topic that I know for a fact you've heard of.
Okay.
Today, we are going to discuss the Stanley Hotel.
Oh. Just a moment to appreciate her. She's regal.
Right?
She's got personality.
She's got style.
She's the it girl. You can't manufacture that. They have it or they don't.
Mm-hmm. I put off doing this story for a long time because it's one of the more well-known stories out of Colorado, but it was fun. It was fun. It's a fun story, and it makes me want to go visit.
Do you already have in the episode your stories from being there? Or
I have never actually been. The closest, I've been outside. I think we got brunch at the restaurant where we sat on the patio, but I've never actually been to the Stanley. I know. I'm going to get my Coloradan badge revoked.
As in you've never stayed the night, or you have never walked inside the...
I have never walked inside the hotel. I have been to Estes Park a few times, but I've never actually gone in the Stanley.
Okay. So before we go to Victor, we have to stay the night at the Stanley. I have also never stayed the night there.
Mm-hmm.
I have been there multiple times. I've had the lunch, dinner, drinks, wandered around, all of it. But I haven't spent the night there.
Okay.
And
that'll be our
before
goal.
People are like, oh my God, how the fuck do you do it? I was a very poor 20-something for a very long time. And as such, I never forked over the cash to stay there. But
weren't we all?
Now I will.
Now we can.
We need to. But I've at least been inside.
I know. The last time that I went, it was for my 30th birthday, and oh my God, that was so long ago.
No, it wasn't. Don't think about it. No, it wasn't.
Yesterday. It was yesterday. No,
it was 2 years ago.
We went to Estes Park for my 30th birthday, but I was 7 months pregnant, and I was so freaked out by the ghosts that I wouldn't go inside.
Auntie,
I know. It was
They're not good.
I don't know. I was really freaked out. So we stayed in this other hotel.
Get
it was
my
really
baby.
Cute, but I don't even know. I don't even know what was going through my brain. But I was also sleep deprived because I had a 4-year-old at home. It's a whole thing. But
you were soberly tripping balls at the
all
same
the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You don't know what you're doing.
I don't know which way.
So we're gonna stay the night at the Stanley. We are going to stay the night at the Stanley. If we're lucky, maybe get there early enough that we can spend a lot of time, because we're just gonna not leave the hotel. We're gonna do the tours. We're gonna have all our meals there. We're just not gonna leave it. We're just gonna wander. If there's an unlocked door, I'm sneaking in.
Yes.
Maybe I'll never leave. You don't know me.
Right? Maybe we'll go in the winter, so it's a little bit less crowded and more spooky.
Oh, and
it'll be dark longer.
I can get a Christmas ornament for my favorite glass blower in Estes Park. Every time I'm there, I always get something from that store and bring it back. And I absolutely love it.
I always get saltwater taffy. from one of the adorable candy shops.
That shit's good.
Yeah. Okay.
So the Stanley.
So the Stanley. We're going to start with the history, and then we can get into the spookiness. So, nestled in the picturesque town of Estes Park is the stately Stanley Hotel. It was founded by Oscar Stanley, who also co-founded the Stanley Motor Carriage Company and invented the steam-powered car known as the Stanley Steamer, which I really always thought was just a carpet cleaning company.
Oh, nay.
But no, it's a car. Stanley arrived in Estes Park in 1903 because he was suffering from debilitating tuberculosis. And back in the day, popular cure, get out of the city, out from the fumes and the nastiness, into the fresh Colorado air. The fresh air and the abundant sunlight of the Rockies actually did work wonders for his health, so he vowed to return every summer. Unfortunately, his wife Flora was accustomed to the sophistication of East Coast society, and she was bored in this quiet little mountain town. So, together they decided to build a grand hotel so that they could attract the society from the East Coast out to Colorado. Which, like, that's a good relationship.
That's fuck around money.
It is.
You want to go out to the mountains. Your wife says there's nothing to do. And your decision is, you're right, I will build what I want us to do. That's Gilded Age money. We don't see that anymore.
No.
Look, if we're going to bring back extreme unfettered wealth, which I don't subscribe to, but if it's going to happen, then also bring back the people who take that extreme unfettered wealth and just pour it into cool shit like this. Libraries.
Do cool stuff with your money.
Hotels. Museums. If you're going to slap your name on it, at least make it enjoyable. Carnegie, stupid amounts of money, built thousands of libraries. We don't see that. Bring that back.
Yeah.
Also,
stop.
Don't
taking rich people to space and rent out your castle for weekend magic. I don't even know, cosplay things.
Yeah, if you're gonna have a fucking mansion, then bring back the French tradition of holding a salon in your parlor where people can exchange ideas and murder mystery dinners. If you're gonna show it off, make it for the greater good.
Do it really mysteriously. Send invitations to people you've never met before that are very cryptic.
Yeah.
Let's have some fun.
We all show up on a stormy night. Why are we here? We don't know. We've never seen you before, but we have some weird connection. And now suddenly, you're dead on the carpet.
Right? That is bringing joy into the world.
Yes. Stanley.
Construction began on the hotel in 1907, and by July 4th, 1909, the Stanley Hotel opened its doors as a luxurious resort for upper-class Easterners and also as a health retreat for those suffering from pulmonary tuberculosis. The hotel was very fancy for the time. It boasted electric lights, telephones, ensuite bathrooms with running water, and there was also a fleet of Stanley steamers to transport guests from the nearest train depot, which was in Lyons.
So nice. So they had a shuttle.
Yeah.
That's cool. And
it's cool.
It's not that Lyons is far, but without a paved road,
right?
That's no easy feat. It's
you
windy.
Are in the mountains
now. There is a Stanley steamer on display in the lobby, so another reason to go.
So the land that the hotel was built on had a bit of a storied past. It was originally the territory of the Ute and the Arapaho. And then it was claimed by the 4th Earl of Dunraven and Mount Earl through questionable use of the Homestead Act.
Okay.
Yeah. So basically, the Homestead Act of 1862 and preemption rights said that if you are male of a certain age or the head of a household, the government would give you a certain amount of land if you occupied it, either for free or for cheap. Through some maybe not quite intended use of these acts, he was able to acquire 15,000 acres of Estes Valley.
Yeah, because
Yeah.
you for sure could prove that you inhabited 15,000 acres. But, people would never use unethical, lying, nefarious, or even violent means in order to steal land from indigenous communities. No, that's never,
Absolutely
they would
not.
never. A white man would never. Okay, so
So he was trying to create a private hunting preserve. The locals hated it and hated him.
well, yeah, private, ew, get out. That's what we don't bring.
Yeah.
No.
They hated him to the point where Stanley at one point suggested naming his hotel the Dunraven, and over 180 people created a petition to request that he name it after himself instead. They're
And
like,
that's,
no.
at the time, wouldn't that be all of the permanent residents of
It had
Estes
to be.
Park? That would
Yeah.
have been actually everybody in the town being like, get fucked. No.
Yeah. So let's see. The Stanley Hotel quickly became a symbol of luxury and innovation. The establishment of Rocky Mountain National Park in 1915 further enhanced the hotel's appeal because it is absolutely gorgeous up there. Stunning.
Rocky Mountain is, protect our national parks, folks. They are beautiful, sacred pieces of land. And Rocky Mountain is stunning.
Mm-hmm.
It's
And
stunning.
you get like herds of elk wandering through town.
They're just gorgeous.
By 1917, Estes Park had become an official municipality with waterworks, a power plant, and civic organizations. And Stanley had helped to organize a lot of that as well. The ownership of the hotel changed hands several times over the years. So Stanley sold it to a private company that had been formed solely to manage the hotel in 1926. But the company went under, and so he repurchased it in 1929, and then he sold it again to Roe Emery, who was a fellow automobile and hotel magnate from Denver in 1930. Between 1974 and 1995, the hotel was actually owned and restored by Frank Normally. And then in 1995, it was bought by the Grand Heritage Hotel Group, which, as far as I know, still owns it today. There was talk of it being sold again, but I don't think it went through.
Okay.
Yes. One of the most dramatic events in the hotel's history happened on June 25th, 1911. So the hotel had been open about 2 years. Even though the hotel had electric lights, Stanley had also installed gas lighting in all of the rooms in case of power failure, because you're up in the mountains,
Yeah.
Stuff happens.
They still have power outages in 2025 with modern grids and wiring.
Right.
So, yeah, that is extremely common.
I live in the suburbs, and my power goes out at least a couple of times a year.
Yeah. Niwot. I have a friend who lives out of, on a golf course, but, just outside of Niwot. Their power goes out all the time.
Yeah, it's wild. So 2 years after it opened, there was a flood, which did in fact cause a power failure. And so a chambermaid named Elizabeth Wilson was going room to room, lighting the gas lights. She didn't realize that there was a gas leak in room 217. So she walked in to light it, and it caused a massive explosion. It blew a hole in the hotel. It damaged about 10% of the structure.
Oh
And
my
the
God.
Stanley Hotel is massive.
Yeah.
So, like, 10%'s a big number. Elizabeth was thrown to the first floor and broke both of her ankles, but she survived. And she
Jesus.
actually returned to work at the Stanley after she recovered.
Oh
And she
my
worked
God.
there until 1950 when
Oh
she
my
retired.
God.
Yeah. Luckily, there were no other major injuries. I read somewhere that 2 other employees had minor injuries, but nobody else was particularly hurt. Uh, that is not room 217's only claim to fame, though, because it is also the room that Stephen King and his wife Tabitha stayed in when they visited the Stanley Hotel in 1974. So they arrived just as the hotel was closing for the winter season, because back then they closed every winter because there just wasn't enough tourism, and it was just hard to keep things running in the winter back then. And they were checking in right as everybody else was checking out. So they were the last guests in the hotel. And, you know, it's winter, it gets dark early. It was empty, it was vast and just eerie. So during their stay, King would roam the empty halls, and he actually had this really vivid nightmare about his young son being chased through the corridors by a possessed fire hose. So word is he woke up in a sweat, went out, lit a cigarette, and basically conceptualized the entire story of The Shining.
Just, just pooped out an iconic piece of horror, both literary and visually with the movie later. But, like,
Mm-hmm.
what is it like to be that talented? God fucking damn it. I've never been that good at anything.
Right? It's
But
just
it
so...
also makes sense. Like, I have been to Estes Park many times in the winter, and I've been in the Stanley when it's snowing, and it does feel, when things are dark and you're hearing the wind rushing over the mountains, even when there's people around you, it's
Mhm.
eerie. So with nobody around, it makes sense.
I mean, any building that is meant to have a bunch of people when you're there alone is
And
spooky.
doesn't, yeah, it's
Yeah.
like clipping into the back rooms. It's that
Right?
liminal space sensation of, why am I feeling weird? And then it takes you a minute to realize people are supposed to be here. Like
Yeah.
seeing all those abandoned concession stands in movie theaters because not as many
I
people go to movie theaters anymore.
I went to a mall the other day, and there was one point where, like, we were in one of the wings and there was nobody there, and I was like, this feels like an apocalypse movie.
I have a deep, deep obsession with dead malls and dying malls. I find them soothing. I want to spend my entire day in them. They're eerie and I enjoy it. I
Huh.
it's I can't describe why, but I love them. There is a person, I'm going to look up their name. All they do on Instagram is they go to videos, or they take videos of dead malls and they put them on like YouTube and stuff. And they do such a good, oh, it's so good. Oh, it's so good. If that's your vibe, folks, yes, retail death.
Retail death. Okay.
If abandoned vintage malls, not fully abandoned, some of them are sometimes, but a lot of them are just vintage malls that have yet to be revitalized, because there's a lot of ideas that go around about ways that communities can revamp a mall, because the traditional concept is really no longer applicable
Right.
in this stage of, you can buy a lot of stuff online, but that doesn't mean that the space or the idea isn't a good idea. I mean, we've had malls in various iterations forever.
Yeah.
There's always been, I mean, malls are just markets, but with a roof
Mhm.
over them. And they find and take videos of the ones that haven't yet been redone from the 80s and 90s. And it is, it's, it's good. It's good.
Nice.
So retail death, if that's your vibe, take a little tour and you will have a similar experience as perhaps Stephen King did, wandering around the empty halls of the Stanley.
Maybe. So, the Stanley Hotel, if you are unaware, became the Overlook Hotel in the books and the movie, but it is based on our very own Stanley Hotel. In 2015, they actually added a hedge maze out front as an homage to the Kubrick film. But yeah, because it's not actually in the book, but it is iconic. So now you can go and get lost in a hedge maze as well.
Mhm. And maybe not freeze to death. It is, I know they changed a lot in the movie versus the book.
Yeah. I've heard that King wasn't thrilled with the original movie, but
No.
I mean, it was still very spooky and I liked it.
Yeah. It's your creation, so I think if anyone's allowed to have an opinion about not liking it, he can.
Yeah.
I think they're both great for different reasons.
I haven't read the book, but I've seen the movie. And I actually read Doctor Sleep, which is the sequel. I know.
You went straight to the part 2.
They chose it in my book club. I don't
Okay.
normally read like a lot of thrillers or horror because
Yeah.
I will have anxiety the entire time that I am reading a
God.
book.
Oh God.
I don't usually do that to myself. So today, the Stanley Hotel is a thriving destination. It offers panoramic views of Lake Estes, the Rockies, and Longs Peak. Guests can stay in one of the 140 rooms. They can enjoy a restaurant, a spa, and a bed and breakfast. The Stanley Hotel, yeah.
Because they added that set. I remember when that was being built. And I was like, oh.
Today, the Stanley Hotel National Register Historic District contains 11 contributing structures, including the main hotel, the concert hall, the carriage house, the manager's cottage, the gatehouse, and the lodge, which is, I believe, the bed and breakfast.
Mm-hmm.
They really embrace. So in the movie, they changed the room number of 217. They changed it to 237 in The Shining because they were afraid people wouldn't want to stay in it. And the Stanley Hotel doesn't actually have a room 237, but people love it. They're all about it. They specifically ask for that room, and they've actually themed that room around Stephen King. They have like a library of Stephen King novels in the room. They also have several themed tours that you can take at the hotel. Currently on their website, they have the Shining Tour, which is a 60-minute indoor-outdoor walking tour that delves into Stephen King's experiences at the hotel, the history behind the hotel, the history behind the novel, and various ghost stories that are associated with the property. They also have a historic day tour, the Vault whiskey tasting, the Frozen Dead Guy tour.
Yes, they did, because Frozen Dead Guy Days is in Estes Park now.
Exactly.
And so is he, actually.
Yes. Yeah, I think you actually get to see him on the tour.
I hope that they reinterred him in such a way that he is both protected.
I hope so.
And, I mean, if I had the chance, respectfully, I would take a picture with him.
Right?
I would ask, in case his spirit is still there. And I know that they stopped displaying him because it was rudimentary. I mean, he was in a tough shed in liquid nitrogen, and people were getting too up close and personal, which is just rude.
Yeah.
But
Weird.
I
If
don't
you would
know.
like to hear more about Frozen Dead Guy Days, you can listen to Season 1, Episode 14.
Back in the day.
And there is also the Stanley Night Tour, which is a 60-minute nighttime walking ghost tour. Because, I know, shocker, the Stanley Hotel is known as one of the most haunted hotels in the United States.
What?
It has even been described as Disneyland for ghosts. It has been featured on popular paranormal shows like Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures. There are also a billion videos on social media and YouTube if you want to see other people having their own ghost encounters and doing like investigations and whatnot. So we will get into the common occurrences on the different parts of the property. They all, like, I watched a few different ghost hunting videos, and they all feature like a ton of EVPs and electronics dying and doors opening and closing on their own. And there are even like a bunch of interviews with employees that have had experiences there. And it's wild. I did laugh though, because I was watching one and they were like, you wouldn't believe it. I keep getting shocked by everything we touch. And like, it was so wild. I walked past this guy and this this static electricity arced from my camera to the guy next to me and so all this stuff. And they're like, it's so haunted. And I'm like, no, it's just dry. It's just dry, my guys.
That's just a mountain town in Colorado. That's Colorado full stop. Period.
It's
End of
just
statement.
Colorado in the winter. I'm sorry.
And, like, my guy, do you know how high you are in elevation? That's just what happens. If that's
Sorry.
ghosts, then my entire house apparently and my work everywhere I go in Colorado is haunted. And I don't think it's fair to make that statement.
No,
That's just us.
gotta have to debunk that.
We're just dry as fuck, my dude. Sorry.
I scratched my tattoo and that was a mistake.
Don't do that. I don't know
Sorry.
how you
Sorry.
have an entire back piece. I would peel my skin off when it itched.
It's hard. Anyway. So, here are the bigger, more common areas and hauntings at the Stanley. So, we're going to start with Stanley's spirit. Freeland Oscar Stanley's spirit is said to roam the hotel still, particularly the bar and the billiard room.
Okay.
In Ghost Adventures, they interviewed a woman who worked in the gift shop, and she said that she has seen him in there just chilling. And like they have portraits of him, so people know what he looks like.
Oh yeah.
And he was just chilling in there. And she was like, I can see you, right? He was just standing there.
I hope that he was having an old-fashioned, because I have had an old-fashioned at the Opal Bar, and it is one of the best drinks that I have ever had. It's my
Excellent.
go-to when I'm there.
I'm down for a good old fashioned.
It's spectacular.
Nice. His wife, Flora, is believed to play on the hotel's piano. And guests have reported hearing piano music when there's nobody like playing. The two of them have also been seen on the grand staircase, just like watching over the goings on in the hotel.
Okay.
I love it.
I
So
want
sweet.
I want that to happen to me. I want to be sitting by the fireplace in the lobby, having a drink, about to go to bed, and just look up and see them. That feels good,
Right?
to me.
Right? Like
that they're still there, making sure everyone's having a good time.
So I do have to say that for the Stanley, there are no recorded deaths on the Stanley property. Now, that said, there have obviously been deaths at the Stanley. It's a hotel. People die in hotels all the time. It's a thing. But there have never been like, murders. There haven't been like these wild things. And so, like, all of the hauntings feel particularly wholesome. I'm here for it. Speaking of wholesome, there is a pet cemetery on the grounds of the hotel. Cemetery as in graveyard, not as in the Stephen King book. And
that book
so
is terrifying.
Awful. I couldn't finish it. It was
Really?
Yeah. I couldn't. Yeah. Too much. So previous owners have buried their pets in this pet cemetery on the hotel grounds. So there is Cassie is the spirit of a golden retriever, and she still delivers newspapers and scratches at doors.
Yes, she does. Because she's perfect.
She's the bestest girl.
Yes, she's the bestest girl. She's the bestest.
And Comanche is a fluffy white cat that wanders the property.
Oh my God.
It's my favorite. I'm sorry, ghost animals. I'm here for.
Yes, all day. If you see a ghost animal, if they choose you, it is the equivalent of the animal choosing you. You are blessed. That is a treasure. That is more powerful than any form of anointing. No. Touched by the Holy Spirit? No. Bullshit. Visited by a ghost animal? Blessed, chosen, sacred.
Agreed. So one of the interesting things, to me at least, it's very interesting, there are caves under the hotel.
Uh-huh.
There is a network of caves that were originally used by staff to travel between the rooms and the hotel bar and restaurant and laundry, because back in the day you didn't want to see your servants.
Mm-hmm.
The ghost of a pastry chef is said to haunt these caves, and so you smell like baked goods in these caves frequently. It's so good. There are apparently high concentrations of limestone and quartz in this area, and a lot of ghost hunters think that it tends to capture energy, and so that's contributing to the high levels of paranormal activity.
Okay.
There's also a gray cat with bright green eyes that has been seen in the cave.
Yes, sweetie
Ghost
bee.
cat.
Can I leave them offerings? Because
I
I will
don't-
come stacked with treats, cans of tuna, rum, anything you want. A saucer of milk, I don't care. I'll do all of it and light a little candle and say, "This is for you, my sweet, sweet friend."
So I've seen ghost hunters that take the little like cat toy balls that like light up when you bat them around. Can we ghost hunt in the cave with a cat toy?
Yeah. Yes, please, please,
Because that sounds
please,
amazing.
please. I need to do this. I need to do this. I just want to make them happy. I want to say thank you for guarding this premises and creating such a wonderful space for everyone. Let me bestow upon you some good energy back, because like that's what you do with spirits.
Right?
If you want them to talk to you, appease them.
Exactly.
And then
Exactly.
if they whisper that they want your soul, maybe you have a firm discussion saying, "No, thank you. Here's my established boundaries. Possession, that's not my vibe. But if you want some snacks, I'm your girl."
Exactly. If you've got some hot goss, here for it.
Spill that tea. I want to hear every detail about, especially if it's other ghosts. Oh my God, ghost drama?
Ghost
Shut
drama
up.
all day.
Ghost drama.
So I couldn't actually watch the whole Ghost Hunters because I couldn't find it streaming anywhere. But I did see a clip of them down in these caves, and they heard a voice say, "Hello?" followed by, "Who's there?" And then like really creepy laughter. It was like a woman's voice. It was
That
spooky.
bitch knew. She knew. She was fucking with you.
Oh yeah.
I have been rewatching old seasons of Ghost Hunters because
That was my jam in high school.
that was my shit.
Yeah.
It still is. I say that. It still is.
I went through a phase where me and one of my friends would get drunk and watch Ghost Adventures. Like, back when it first was, like, coming out, we're just like,
Oh
"Come
yeah.
at me, ghost," because he's so ridiculous. He's so ridiculous, and it's
Yep.
very entertaining. Anyway, it is not a true paranormal location in Colorado without having a vortex.
Naturally.
The staircase between floors in the main guest house is known as the vortex. It is supposedly a natural spiral of energy that's considered a rapid transit system for ghosts. I don't know who decided this or where these ghosts are going or coming from.
Yeah.
If it's
The
like Disney World
stairwell
for ghosts, maybe
between
they get visitors.
the s-
I don't know.
stairwell between the first and second story, so like that main.
I
Okay.
don't believe it's the grand staircase. I think it's a secondary one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah,
Maybe. You know what? Maybe. Maybe. It's kind of like a harmless statement. So, sure.
right?
Yes.
I don't
Sure.
I don't know enough about vortices to make a statement either way, so
I've
but it is not the
never
first
asked a
vortex
commuter.
we've
Never asked a commuter ghost.
right?
Okay, so I don't know.
I mean, destination in regular life, maybe it's a destination in the afterlife.
Perhaps. And yeah, Colorado, that's kind of a you could that's just like an assumed statement of anywhere that's weird or spooky. It's like vortex of energy.
It's a vortex.
Yeah.
Mhm,
Yeah.
mhm.
For sure. For sure.
Guests report cold spots, dizziness, and orbs and distortions have been caught on camera. I'm going to send you some of the pictures that people have taken at the Stanley Hotel as well.
Okay.
A lot of them are on the stairs.
Okay.
Yeah. So, our next stop on our haunted tour of the Stanley Hotel is the concert hall.
The place is
I
so
just
cool.
love these ghosts so much. Like, I cannot explain to you. The concert hall is, besides being one of the locations that she plays the piano, the concert hall is haunted by a ghost named Paul, who is a former Stanley Hotel employee who died in 2005.
Okay.
Paul is known for enforcing the 11 p.m. curfew at the hotel. And so if you're in the concert hall late at night, he'll tell you to get out.
That's all he does.
I
He just
mean,
says, get
mostly.
out.
A
All
construction
right.
worker, I guess, felt Paul nudge him while he was sanding the floors, and then like tour groups have reported that Paul will like flicker flashlights for them. But yeah, he's mostly just like a stickler for the rules. And he's like, it is curfew. You need to go to bed.
He said last call was 30 minutes ago. What the fuck are you still doing here? That man wants to go home. I get it. I respect that. Paul, I respect you.
Mhm.
And I will say that to his face.
So there is a rumor about a woman named Lucy, who I think this is more on the urban myth side of things. They say she was possibly a runaway or a homeless woman. And she climbed into the basement or something and then froze to death.
Mm.
Like I said, there's been no confirmed anything about this, but Lucy will also apparently communicate through flashing lights with ghost hunters.
Okay. I mean, depending on when she passed, especially if it actually happened and it was during the time frame where the hotel would close for the season, it is entirely possible that someone would go there to seek shelter
Mm-hmm.
and with no appropriate like heat or anything. I mean, people freeze to death, unfortunately, now
Yeah.
being in Colorado exposed to the elements. So, okay.
Our next stop is the Ice House. So that is what this building originally was.
Mm-hmm.
It was an ice house. It's been remodeled into a museum, and it has some of the original Stanley steamer cars in it.
Cool.
Apparently, 2 spirits haunt this location, but I only got details on one of them.
Okay.
Yeah, One of them is a shy kid named Billy, and they often appear as blurry figures in photographs. So, okay, we are back to room 217, which is both our Stephen King room and the room that had the gas explosion.
Mm-hmm.
It is said that Elizabeth Wilson, the chambermaid who exploded there, still haunts the room, which, I mean, I would, personally.
Yeah.
But,
You're famous because of that shit. You stay there.
right? I guess. So, guests have reported that their belongings will be mysteriously unpacked or, like, packed nicer. Lights will turn on and off. They will wake up to a room that is tidier than when they went to sleep. Like their clothes are folded and their suitcases are organized.
Okay.
Some have claimed that their bed was made around them while they were sleeping.
Okay.
Apparently, she has opinions about unmarried couples, though. So if an unmarried couple stays in the room, then rather than getting a ghost maid, they have felt like a cold presence between them in bed.
Because living in sin.
Exactly. Apparently, Jim Carrey requested to stay in this room when they were filming Dumb and Dumber,
Oh, yeah.
but he fled in fear after just 3 hours, and he still refuses to talk about what happened.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know.
It's very sweet. It's very sweet that this woman wants to be helpful. But do you ever hear those stories about the spirits of people who were housekeeping workers or like domestic staff in life, and then in death they're still doing it? And then you think to yourself, like, I don't want you to work for eternity. Like, that's not your role. Are you
Right?
happy? You don't have to keep doing that. Do you want to stay? Like, do you want to take a
I
load
mean,
off?
maybe they just really like taking care of people. But yeah, I know I'm not going to die and then keep doing my job. I'm sorry. That
Oh no.
reminds me, though, that is one of the few episodes of Goosebumps, like the show, that's stuck in my head.
Okay.
Was this kid who worked at a bowling alley, and the owner was just like, "Oh, I love it. Nothing ever breaks around here anymore." And he's like, "What are you talking about? I fix stuff all the time." And it turns out he had been hit by a train and he didn't know he was a ghost, and so he kept going to work.
I feel that people are more, should be more, than simply the way they made a living in life. And so then in death, you're not making a living anymore. It's kind of the opposite. So if that's what you want to do because you enjoy it, you want to help people, then that's great. But also, maybe again, I will leave you a little offering so that you understand if you don't want to clean up, that's okay. I
Would you
stay.
feel judged if a ghost started cleaning your room?
I feel guilty. I think I would apologize and try to clean it so they don't have to.
I think I would too.
But I also feel that when I'm in any space where someone who is living and has a pulse is still cleaning up my stuff, I will
Hmm.
make it as easy for them as possible. So I feel like I would have the same, like, oh my God, I'm so sorry.
Right? I feel like I would be the person who, like, pre-cleans when they hire a cleaner.
Yes. Yes. I have been that person. So I can attest. And it's as also someone who was the cleaner, that's nice. You don't
I
have
could
to
see
do
it.
that, but if you get it to a space where I'm not doing 3 times the amount of work, that's pretty cool.
Right?
Just be nice to folks who are doing labor intensive but domestic work. It is a fuck ton of work, which is why you're not doing it. And just because someone else is doing it and you forget that, it's not an excuse. Don't be a douche.
Really, just anybody in the service industry.
Yeah,
Just be nice.
don't be a douche. Because you don't want to do it. That's why you're going and paying for it. So remember
Exactly.
that.
So we have worked our way up to the most haunted part of the hotel, which is the fourth floor.
Mm.
Basically, the entire 4th floor is haunted.
Okay.
Back in the day, it was essentially just a large attic, and the female employees, children, and nannies would stay up there. And so there are a lot of reports of hearing children laughing or crying or running up and down the hallways. There was a tour supervisor who said they were made mysteriously ill on this floor. Apparently, room 401 is the creepiest. It's haunted by an unfriendly male. Some sources say that this was the spirit of Lord Dunraven. I don't know. I don't know why he would be
Why would
there.
he be there?
He even, he had even opened his own hotel briefly
Yeah.
that, burned down.
Yeah.
So I don't know why he would be there, but, I mean, maybe he didn't have anything else going on. I don't know.
He apparently did like to ruin things for other people, so that tracks.
Right? It's not like he's, a good guy, even in this haunting. Women have reported being groped while standing in the closet. Yeah, one man saw his wedding ring inexplicably move from the bathroom counter and fall down the sink drain, which,
That's rude. And that
yeah.
also sounds like a very convenient excuse that you want to tell your
Right.
wife so that you don't get in trouble for losing your wedding ring. Maybe it's a ghost, and maybe it was you not paying attention and then you're just too scared. Either
Maybe.
way, who
I'd go
knows?
with ghosts. There have also been reports of hair pulling and the door, shaking nonstop, which I hate. I would hate that. I don't like that.
Absolutely not. And don't fucking touch me. My God, don't touch me. In life, don't touch me. I'm like, ew.
It's
Ew.
true. Yeah.
Ew.
Not a hugger. If you ever see Katie in the wild, not a hugger.
Not. I'm so sorry,
It's
folks.
fine.
No, a
No, it's
very
fine.
enthusiastic, oh my God, hi, how are you? An engaging conversation. Friendly,
Absolutely.
preferably with at least 3 feet of distance between the two of us. Maybe 2.
Depends on how well you know the person.
Eh.
Lord Dunraven has reportedly been seen near the staircase as well. I believe that there is a portrait of him hanging in the hotel. So people have seen that and been like, I saw that guy. It's a thing. Room 407 has multiple reports of guests being tucked into bed by an invisible force, and then the feeling of someone sitting at the foot of their bed. They also report seeing someone watching them near the bathroom.
Okay.
And then the light in the corner of the room is said to flicker and turn off and on. Some guests have even asked the spirits to turn it back on for them.
Okay. Do they?
I guess, yeah.
That's very nice. That's very sweet. Thank you.
Be creepy, but maybe not that creepy. Be also helpful.
Yeah. I feel like
Maybe
that's
it's just a
respecting.
misunderstanding.
Yeah, that's just respecting boundaries. That's probably someone trying to communicate. And when you say, hey, that's kind of weird, or maybe it's scaring me, then they go, oh my God, that was not my intention.
Mm-hmm.
And dope. I would say, can you please leave the light on while I go have dinner? I would appreciate it.
Some people say that this is actually the room that Lord Dunraven haunts. I don't know.
Okay.
It sounds like he was kind of a jerk,
Okay.
and I'm going to assign him the first room.
Yeah.
Just on gut intuition. People have reported hearing noises from the elevator even when it's not in use, and faces looking out of the window on the 4th floor when nobody's there. One of the videos that I watched, it was kind of weird. They got in the elevator and they didn't push any buttons, and then the elevator just took them to the 3rd floor. And so they were like, well, that was weird. And they went to a different floor, and then they stood in it again without pushing anything, and it took them to the 3rd floor again. It just kept taking them to the 3rd floor without pushing any buttons. It was super weird. There was nobody outside of it. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah. The third haunted room on the 4th floor is room 428. This one is haunted by a cowboy, and he will loom over the bed or stand in the corner, and they'll hear furniture moving or footsteps above them even though they're on the top floor.
Okay.
Yeah. There are, like I said, there's so many photos and videos, and it is you could rabbit hole so hard just on Instagram or TikTok or whatever, just looking up haunted Stanley Hotel. So I'm going to post some of the more famous ones, but I'm going to send them to you right now.
Okay. I was going to say, were there some when you were watching this that got you, or that were
There
your
are
favorites?
a few that have gained particular notoriety. So let's start with Figure on the Stairs, when you get that one.
Okay. And this is the main stairs?
I believe these are the grand staircase. I can't quite tell if both of these photos are on the same stairs or not. Okay, so Figure on the Stairs. This is a famous photo that someone took. They were just taking a picture of the grand staircase. There was nobody on the stairs. And in this photo, it is very clearly a woman.
Is this the one that's circled?
Yes.
Is that?
Supposedly there was nobody on the stairs.
Is that
but
real?
it's apparently real. And I believe it was this photo was actually examined, and they're we don't see any signs of it being manipulated. And her head kind of looks weird and a little bit see-through. It's very spooky.
But she's wearing an evening gown
Mm-hmm.
dress. Her hair is piled up in a bun that I just did that style for a Victorian themed bridal tea. It looked very good. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Aw, hell yeah.
So that's one of the more famous ones. And then go to Girl on the Staircase. Or Girls on the Stairs. This one is also very spooky.
Oh.
So there's definitely a woman on the stairs on the top half. Is going around the corner,
Yeah.
and there's a landing, and then it's going
Yeah.
down, and there's a figure that's very blurry and see-through.
Yeah.
That's a child on the staircase.
And
And there was no child there in real life. There's kind of a second figure on the stairs in front of the woman. I read conflicting reports about whether that was a real person or not.
Yeah, given that it's in color
Mhm.
and also seems really opaque, you could also say that was somebody sitting. I thought, oh, that was someone sitting on the stairs during the tour and they just turned their head super fast, you know?
Yeah, that was kind of my thought. But apparently there was no child on the stairs going down.
Okay.
So that's also creepy. There are stories of a little girl named Lucy haunting the hotel. Whether or not it's the same woman who potentially froze to death, it was a little wishy-washy. There were literally so many stories that it got hard to keep track of them.
Yeah.
But she will move lollipops in people's hands. If you're holding a lollipop, she'll move it.
Because she wants you candy.
And I did have a friend from book club. Hi, Jan. And she went on this tour, and they were like, oh, yeah, there's this little girl, and she's said to haunt this area. And she's yeah, she's right there behind the door. She just saw her. So,
Dope.
Yeah. It's freaking wild. So, the last one, not this one. Hold on. Ghost in the Window. So somebody was taking a photo of the outside of the Stanley, and they were trying to get this there's all these American flags hung outside of it. And so they were taking this like really patriotic photo, but in the window in the background, you can see someone standing in the window, even though that room was like unoccupied at the time.
That's weird.
Yeah.
Like, have people tried to recreate this?
I'm sure that they have.
Okay. Because I want
These
to
are,
know if you could only get that sort of illusion with actually someone standing in the window, or if it's something that, like, when the blinds are closed and the wind catches it just right.
right. Yeah, I don't know.
But from far away, it looks like someone is just there.
Right? Like it looks like somebody with like collarbone length hair. It's like
Yeah, in a
standing. Yeah.
nightgown, being like, who the fuck are you? Get that
Mm-hmm.
camera out of my face.
Exactly. I want to say that's a third floor window.
Okay.
Don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty sure that's the third floor. So, yeah. So it's a pretty wild place, and I really, really want to go.
We need to stay there, and we need to get there early, hang out the whole day, do all the tours, the historic
Mm-hmm.
tour, have dinner, have drinks, do the ghost tour.
Yep.
Like, I want all of it.
Like, chat up the employees so that we can get all of the really good stories.
Yeah, the good shit. That hotel's I love that hotel. My sister was married in that hotel, as a matter of fact. So,
Oh, that would be lovely.
yeah. She got married in the music room, and they had their reception there too. And the pictures are stunning.
I believe
It
it.
was phenomenal. She loved it. She had an amazing time. So,
I believe it. It is famous for a reason. Like, and
it's an incredible hotel.
legit, like, these are the most delightful hauntings. This is not some creepy sheriff following you through the underground tunnels and, like, being weird shadow people. This is delightful.
Yeah. Oh, this was just like heartwarming. It was such a heartwarming haunting.
It's so nice. All right. Well, that's all I've got for you tonight.
I think that's plenty. Your voice held out. Bravo.
Thank you. I thought I would be okay. I have my tea. It's honey chai turmeric. So,
Oh, perfect.
it's been doing good. Yeah. If you want more from us, you can check out the rest of our episodes. You can also follow us and see our beautiful shining faces on social media. We're on Instagram and on YouTube now. If you want either the full episode with video or just clips, we've got those. If you want to contact us directly, you can email us at twogirlswhoscareeasily@gmail.com with the number 2. Social media is also 2girlswhoscareeasily with the number 2. Otherwise, yeah, stay smart.
Stay safe.
And stay spooky.
Exactly.
Bye.
This spooky.
This
Stay
spooky.
as
This is
spooky
the
as the Stanley
proper
Hotel.
amount of spooky.
Yes.
Yes.
Bye.
Bye.